Hi everyone, I'm Stacey Holland and welcome to Real Health. Thanks so much for tuning in. We all know kids who can't sit still, who never seem to listen, who don't follow instructions no matter how clearly you present those instructions to them, or blurt out inappropriate comments at inappropriate times. And sometimes these children are labeled as troublemakers or criticized for being lazy and undisciplined or ill-disciplined. However, they may have attention deficit hyperactivity disorder or ADHD. So in our Real Health Medicine Cabinet, the feature where the team and I try out and test some of the natural solutions available on the market, and then we invite experts to give us their opinions on these products and the conditions that they're good for, is a formula that could assist in treating children diagnosed with this condition. But first, let's find out more about ADD and ADHD and the symptoms to look out for. So in studio, I'm joined by Rory Jean-Jacques, who's a natural health practitioner, to shed some more light on this topic. You know, sometimes I cringe with all of these labels because often, or more often than not, it's children with lots of energy, you know, children that are looking to expend this energy in natural ways, and we're so quick to label them, you know, as ADHD or ADD.
I have a very big challenge with the name. I think it's quite a travesty. I don't think it's a disorder as much as a trait. This is what I've observed with children.
Yeah.
It's you know, when we were all kids and we had lots of energy and we expended it in healthy ways, we were just called kids.
Yeah.
You know, they're now medicating these kids with amphetamines, which is one chemical step away from methamphetamine.
Yeah.
And the effects on their health and their psychological well-being. Yes, it's going to give you laser focus, but what is the underlying issue that's originally creating that?
Yeah.
And I see so many parents, desperate parents, coming in and saying, these are all the symptoms. How do I treat my child? It's something that I've dealt with myself.
Yeah.
And if I look back at my childhood, it was definitely something that was there. But some of the greatest minds of our time were dyslexic and were ADD, and because they had their brain chemistry works in a different way, but in a brilliant way, and it needs
a misunderstood way.
A misunderstood way. So we're trying to channel these kids into a way of being, sit down, follow, learn, parrot fashion, all of these things.
Become robots sometimes.
You know, but just regurgitate and to become systemized within this. But where does the unique spark of that individual child come out, and that aptitude with which their neurology is wired? You know, are they scientific? Are they art? Are they this? You know, so you know, in France, ADD actually doesn't exist. They treat it as part of a cultural, family, discipline, boundaries, and the way things, the way that you also feed these children, because that plays a massive factor.
Huge connection with the gut.
Absolutely, with the gut, with what's eating, with the health of the parent, while you know, both parents, but specifically the mother. You know, they found that mothers that smoke or consume high amounts of heavy metal fish, or the lifestyle, you know, while you're pregnant, can increase the risk of your child being ADD, because it's a neural developmental issue. So smoking can increase the risk threefold of your child having ADD or ADHD. Now there's a difference between the two. And now they've labeled it as one thing, but ADD is the attention deficit disorder.
Without the hyperactivity.
Without the hyperactivity. And the ADHD is the attention deficit, but it's the hyperactivity, the fidgeting, impulsiveness, you know, aggressiveness, you know, way too much energy, can't expend it. And there are a number of factors which drive that. So the ADD can just be like, just can't concentrate, don't have that mental energy. You know, so you'd sometimes think that the child is shy, or maybe, you know, withdrawn, or you know, lack of self-worth, or just doesn't want to engage, doesn't have the energy, maybe lazy, you know, those types of
Sometimes they think they're slow in developmental milestones.
So maybe this child's a bit slow, doesn't quite get things, because their brain, different parts of their brain don't function, you know, at the energy level that they should, or they don't function in cohesiveness. So the basal ganglia, which is like the switchboard of the brain, which switches it on and off at particular times when things, doesn't do that. And they've found in research that there are 5 parts of the brain that have a slowed development. So ADD does exist. So there could just be an example where it's a child that's just a child, just has too much energy. And that can be adjusted through diet and through structure and through exercise, get the blood moving. And they found that kids that exercise and work on their cores and do those types of things that work with balance, it's also involved in their development.
So let's talk about what is actually going on in the brain, and then some of the symptoms that parents can look out for. So not to alarm the parents, but to say, okay, this is what's happening. It may or not be cause for concern, but if we start implementing some of the changes that we're going to recommend, they can watch and see if symptoms improve or if, you know, they should take
So with one of the main ones you'll normally see is ADHD.
Okay.
And that's the hyperactivity.
Yeah.
So it's fidgeting, not being able to sit, impulsiveness, aggression, regular tantrums.
Okay.
There are quite a few. With the ADD, it comes to the child just doesn't have the not necessarily, but just doesn't have the capacity to just sustain their mental endurance for a period of time.
Okay.
And have trouble sort of processing the information at the speed that would be considered normal. So what happens in the brain is there's an imbalance in the different neural chemicals that drive the functioning and the communication of your neurons. And they've also done research where they find that the way the nerves conduct electricity, there's a difference in that. And they're trying to understand, where does it come from? Does it come from a development? So they found ADD kids' brains are 3 to 4% smaller than normally developing children. But it's not to say that they're less intelligent. It's no mark on intelligence. Because these kids are highly intelligent and they learn different ways on
they also
how
see
to work
things
with it.
differently to the way we see things.
I think it's a gift. We need to learn how to understand these children. But if we foundationally can feed them the right stuff, the right foods, avoid wheat is a massive one. So the gut lining inflammation and the balance of the ecology in the gut we talk about the gut-brain connection. So a lot of C-section children don't go through the birth canal and they don't collect that ecology, so they don't get that. And I see that. They're vaccinated with 50 vaccines before they are 5 years old, and they get a whole range of immune complexes which inflame the nervous system. It also comes with heavy metals. You know, heavy metals like aluminium and lead exposure to a lot of children can play a big factor. Estrogen dominance affects how the brain develops and how the brain utilizes oxygen. So the health of the mother is extremely important. Omega-3 deficiencies.
They're often labeled as fussy eaters as well.
A lot of them also fussy eaters. They don't want to eat.
Because they struggle to digest.
But also their iron levels can be very low. So, and you don't want to eat, you know, so you get this like apathy and this lethargy, you know, and zinc is so heavily involved in also your ability to taste and smell and your interaction with food. So, you know, and omega-3s are so heavily involved in just calming the brain currents and just getting everything communicating, getting the fluid balance correct in the brain. Because a lot of the time it's also to do with hydration levels.
So one member of the Real Health team has been using NeoGenesis Brainiac formula for her niece who has been diagnosed with ADHD. This formula is said to help with concentration, focus and memory. So Rory's here to chat to us about it and what makes it so unique as well.
So one of the main ingredients in there is something called vinca, which is very effective for ADD. So it increases blood flow to the brain, how your brain turns over oxygen and energy supply, something called ATP. So you get this energizing effect in the brain. So increased focus and endurance. Then it's got something in it called passion flower, which also does the same thing, but it calms. So you get that balancing effect. And then also one of the superstars in there is artichoke leaf extract.
Okay, yes, I've been hearing a lot about that.
Been proven to lower inflammation in the brain, which is a big thing in ADD, and help the brain build new neurons and balance how its chemicals communicate. It also improves digestion and absorption and reduces.
So you're improving immunity.
Food allergies. You're improving immunity, which is an important thing for kids, but also it helps with liver detoxification. A lot of toxicity buildup. A lot of ADD kids have heavy metals and they struggle with phase 2 liver detox. So that combination of all three is something that I've consistently seen extremely good feedback with in practice. So I'm very confident in recommending this product in conjunction with lifestyle changes.
At what age you recommend they start taking it? And also, at what age do you think parents should perhaps seek out a diagnosis or consult a practitioner?
So when a child really starts to learn, you know, their first year in school, first 2 years in school is an evaluation period to see how they start doing, and you start getting feedback from teachers. Depending on what you get from there, you will then say, you know, what do we do? Is it a learning disability? Is it just, is it ADD? Can we make some changes? Because just to go and diagnose it really doesn't really help, because there's so many things that are simple changes that just change the child. They don't really need that label. But then there are other children which are, it's quite an extreme thing, and you need to go and check maybe they're on the spectrum, maybe there are other factors, and start learning about how you're going to look after your child. So from, this product can be used from age sort of 6 onwards with no problems, upwards to 14, 15, 16 with no issues.
So it's interesting that people are now discovering that there's more adult onset of ADHD or ADD.
Same issue.
Yeah.
Diet, lifestyle.
Yeah.
Alcohol, and if you can make those specific changes with the right food and the right particular supplements, you can it's something that I dealt with. I cleaned up my diet, I cleaned up gut, I cleaned up chronic infection, I got specific nutrients right, and when my focus starts going out, I know something's incorrect, I got to look at it. So it's something that I've dealt with personally, so I understand it.
Yeah. Okay, and where do people get it?
It's available at health shops and pharmacies across the country.
Okay.
It's available on neogenhealth.com and on centeredsecrets.co.za.
Fantastic.